when silence replaces words. You see, silence doesn't show up out of nowhere. It's never the first step. Women don't start off quiet. They start by explaining, expressing, trying to connect. They try to fix things. They talk about what hurts, what feels unfair, what's slipping away. And when they realize their words are falling on deaf ears, they stop. That's when silence moves in, slowly but surely. It's not coldness, it's exhaustion, the kind that comes from feeling unseen. Men often mistake that silence for peace. They think, finally, she's not arguing anymore. But what they don't realize is that her silence isn't comfort, it's surrender. It's her way of saying, I'm done fighting for something you won't fight for too. And when a woman gets to that point, it's not that she doesn't care anymore. It's that she cared too much for too long, and now she has nothing left to say.
The misunderstood quiet. A lot of men misunderstand a woman's silence. They assume she's just in a mood, or that she's trying to play some emotional game. But silence, for women, isn't about manipulation. It's communication, just in a language many men never learn to understand. Studies in communication psychology actually show that women often use silence as a coping mechanism when words start to lose meaning. It's their way of protecting themselves emotionally. So when she goes quiet, she's not trying to punish you. She's trying to protect her peace. She's trying to stop herself from saying things she can't take back. She's trying to find calm in a situation that's been full of chaos. But men often misread this pause. They see it as indifference, when in reality, it's heartbreak trying to heal in private.
The emotional weight behind her silence. A woman's silence is heavy. It's full of everything she wanted to say but couldn't. It carries the weight of late-night tears, unanswered messages, and all those times she tried to make you understand how she felt, but ended up feeling foolish instead. Her silence is not empty. It's crowded with all the thoughts she's tired of sharing. You can almost see it in her eyes when she's quiet. That quiet ache of someone who's given everything, hoping you'd notice before she stops trying. The silence isn't peaceful, it's loud inside her mind. Every memory, every argument, every disappointment echoes back. She replays it all until she realizes that talking won't change anything anymore. And here's where most men miss it. They think the silence means she's fine. But silence doesn't mean fine. It means finished. It means she's accepted that no amount of talking will fix what's already been ignored.
Why men often miss the signs. Let's be honest. We live in a world where communication between men and women is often misunderstood. Men are taught to fix problems, not feel them. So when a woman stops talking, many men think the problem has gone away. But in truth, it's just gone quiet. And that quiet is the calm before an emotional storm that's already brewing inside her. In a 2022 relationship survey, more than 68% of women admitted they emotionally shut down when they feel unheard. Not because they stop caring, but because they start realizing they've been giving more than they're receiving. That silence is self-defense. It's her way of choosing herself again after feeling forgotten. And what's interesting is that men often notice too late. By the time they realize the silence meant something deeper, she's already built emotional distance. The connection that could have been saved with one honest conversation is now beyond reach, not because of anger, but because silence became her final answer.
The transition from emotion to numbness. At first, her silence hurts her more than it hurts anyone else. She's not used to holding back. She wants to explain, to fix things, to talk it out. But slowly, she learns to live with the quiet. She starts to find comfort in not explaining herself anymore. She stops expecting an apology, stops waiting for change, stops hoping for things to go back to how they were. And here's the heartbreaking part. Once a woman gets used to her own silence, she rarely goes back, because silence, for her, becomes peace. It's not that she doesn't feel anymore.
It's that she's learned not to waste her emotions where they aren't valued. And that transformation from emotional to numb is what many men completely miss. When she no longer reacts, when she no longer asks, when she no longer argues, that's when she's gone. Maybe not physically, but emotionally, she's already left the relationship.
The power hidden in her silence. There's also a different kind of silence, one that isn't broken, but powerful. This is the silence of a woman who's learned her worth. She doesn't chase, she doesn't beg, and she doesn't explain. Her quiet becomes her strength because she knows she doesn't need to prove her value anymore. She just walks away with it. In a world where people talk too much and listen too little, her silence speaks volumes. It's dignity, it's boundaries. It's her saying, if you wanted to understand me, you would have listened the first time. And that's the kind of silence that leaves men replaying every word she didn't say, wondering what they missed. The truth is, silence has power, not because it's empty, but because it forces others to face what they've ignored. It makes people realize that communication isn't just about words. It's about effort, understanding, and presence.
The moment of realization. There always comes that moment, maybe weeks, maybe months later, when a man starts to notice what her silence really meant. He remembers how she used to share everything, how her eyes lit up when she talked about small things, how she always checked if he was okay. And then he remembers how that stopped, how the messages got shorter, how her tone changed, how her laughter disappeared. And that's when it hits him. Her silence wasn't sudden, it was built, piece by every ignored feeling, every dismissed word, every time she had to repeat herself to be heard. Her silence wasn't the problem, it was the result of the problem. By then, though, she's already learned that peace is better than constant explaining, and he's left realizing that the thing he once took for granted has now become the quietest regret of his life.
The lesson we all miss. At the end of the day, what every man misses about a woman's silence is that it's not the absence of love, it's the proof of it. She stayed long enough to lose her voice trying to make things work. Her silence is what happens when love has run out of ways to express itself. And if you're lucky enough to notice that silence early, before it turns into distance, that's your moment to change things, to talk, to listen, to rebuild. Because once she finds peace in her silence, she rarely looks back. So maybe, just maybe, we should stop fearing the arguments and start fearing the quiet. Because sometimes the loudest thing in a relationship isn't the yelling, it's the silence that follows.